ladies and gentlemen, the 11th Sino-American Conference on mainland China is both important and meaningful. Chinese and foreign scholars have gathered to ascertain Chinese mainland realities through the exchange of knowledge acquired in the course of their studies. We have special admiration and respect for friends from various foreign countries who have made the tiring trip here in quest of learning. On behalf of the government and the people of the Republic of China, I want to take this opportunity to extend our warmest welcome, our best wishes to all of you. In 3 days of meetings, you have engaged in wide-ranging and penetrating discussions of the Chinese Communist Party, political, economic, social, cultural, and foreign affairs. The incisive views you have expressed during these sessions will assuredly deepen the free world's understanding of problems on the Chinese mainland. I would like to stress that studies on mainland China should be focused on understanding of the true wishes of the Chinese people and the overall trend of China's future development. In past decades, Chinese and Western scholars have made considerable contributions to the study of mainland China problems. The emphasis of their research, however, seems to have centered primarily on the investigation of the structure, behavior, and short-term changes of the Chinese Communist regime. Consequently, the findings tend to reflect their observation of the outward phenomena at a certain stage and thus fall short of penetrating the more fundamental and underlying causes in the momentum of change in modern China. In my humble opinion, if we are going to increase the explanatory, heuristic, and predictive power of the research findings in China studies, we must elevate the level of analysis and broaden the scope of observation. In other words, we have to transform China studies from a field of study of the Chinese Communist regime alone to one dealing with the direction and the processes of the modernization of the Chinese nation as a whole. If we can agree on this, then we may want to shift our attention from the study of the conduct of Chinese communist leaders to that of the response of the Chinese culture and the society to the communist system. Only by following this path can we unravel the true nature of the evolving Chinese problems and find the key to a deeper understanding of the common inner aspirations of the Chinese people. Influenced by the Chinese communist regime, the people of the world have made Free China an issue, the so-called Taiwan issue. This concept is as mistaken as putting the cart before the horse. The Republic of China, Taiwan, has achieved progress, prosperity, and stability. Its people enjoy a modern life of freedom and happiness. The Republic of China, moreover, is a constructive member of the international community. It therefore does not constitute an issue. We believe the real issue is that of mainland China, the issue of whether the people there should forever continue to live under communist rule. To the free world, the common issue we face is the China issue, the issue of a preference for a strong and hostile communist China or a peace-loving non-communist China. If a non-communist China is to be preferred, the free world should obviously allow the people on the two sides of the Taiwan Straits to make their own choice. In other words, we should leave the problem of China's future to the decision of the Chinese people as a whole. Regarding Chinese reunification, the two sides have advanced different views. Free China calls for Chinese reunification under the three principles of the people, whereas the Chinese communist regime has advanced through Ye Jianying a 9-point proposal for so-called peaceful reunification, which actually intended to communalize free China. The current question, therefore, remains that of whether a democratic and free China or a communist and despotic China can best fulfill the aspirations of the Chinese people and the interests of the free world. At this point, I would like to make some observations and request your comment. First one is the 9-point peace proposal of Chinese communist regime. Since establishing diplomatic relations with the United States, the Chinese communists have continuously clamored for so-called peace and unification in an attempt to implement its conspiracy to isolate us by pulling the wool over the eyes of the free world. Judging the Chinese communists by their past conduct, we are well aware that they will turn to peace talk if they are unable to attain their objective by force. They will compel an opponent to agree to peace by threatening war or by alternating peace and war if their peace talk call is ignored. The Chinese Communist peace talk proposals have attracted the attention of the international community in recent years. We have always understood that this is a funny image of peace devised by the Chinese communists and a gimmick to deceive the people of the world. This is because all such proposals have two accompanying preconditions. First, the government of the Republic of China is to be considered a provisional government under the jurisdiction of the Chinese Communist regime. Second, the invasion of Taiwan by force is not ruled out if peace talks fail. In other words, this so-called peace proposal is actually an attempt to annex the Republic of China on Taiwan. We have learned many traumatic lessons and will not again take the Chinese communist world lightly. In September 1981, Ye Jianying made his 9-point peace talk proposal on behalf of the Chinese communist regime calling on the Kuomintang of China to talk with the Chinese Communist Party. Ye said the Chinese Communists would allow Taiwan to maintain its military, economic, and social autonomy. But almost in the same breath, the Chinese Communists threatened to downgrade diplomatic relations with the United States if it continued selling arms to the Republic of China on Taiwan. The Chinese Communists also demanded that countries with which they maintain diplomatic ties not to have representative offices or agencies in Taiwan. Recently, the Chinese Communists disrupted international athletic activities by refusing to send a team to the 5th World Women's Softball Championship in Taipei, and by trying to dissuade other countries from participating. All of these developments provide a clear evidence that the Chinese Communist peace talk proposal and their glamour for so-called 3 links and 4 exchanges are means of deception in the attempt to communise free China. Peace talk is another form of communist struggle. The Chinese Communists have raised the absurd view that the supply of weapons to the Republic of China on Taiwan will strengthen its stand against peace talk. This is an attempt to deceive the United States. In the words of Sun Tzu, a famed Chinese strategist of olden times, this is an effort to defeat the military force of the other side without fighting a battle. On January 20th, 1961, in his inaugural speech, President John F. Kennedy said the United States would never fail to negotiate, but would never negotiate out of fear. President Reagan said in his State of the Union address in 1981 that America will negotiate only from a position of strength. The eminent views of these 2 American presidents clearly express the position and attitude that should be adopted by a responsible government. We hope sincerely that the free world, and the United States especially, will recognize the Chinese Communist regime's conspiracy of attempting to disarm free China and communise its people through the employment of diplomatic pressure. The free world should never be lured by the Chinese Communist bait into making further concessions. My second remark is on the free China goal. In keeping with the aspiration of the Chinese at home and abroad, the Republic of China and Taiwan has proposed to unify China on the basis of the doctrines and advocacies of the Dr. Sun Yat-sen. Developments on the 2 sides of the Taiwan Straits during the past 30-odd years have proved that Dr. Sun Yat-sen's 3 principles of the people are suited to the national development of China and can solve the China problem and assure the freedom, affluence, and happiness of the Chinese people. I should like to explain briefly the major points of the 3 principles of the people. The principle of nationalism seeks to establish a country of the people. The principle of democracy is intended to establish a country ruled by the people. And the principle of the people's livelihood is aimed at establishing a country for the people. The results of our implementation of the three principles of the people in Taiwan have been recognized throughout the world in past years. Even the leaders of the Chinese Communist regime has been compelled to admit openly that mainland China cannot catch up with Taiwan economically. The Chinese Communists have tacitly followed the successful experience of the Republic of China in seeking national development. They have imitated our free export processing zones by opening so-called special economic zones, and are trying to attract foreign capital to help them to enlarge their export. They have also readjusted the order of their economic development by giving first priority to agriculture sector. They recently tried again to adjust the economic structure while continuing to recognize the state and collective ownership. They began in a small way to accept the individual economy of urban and the rural workers. The reorganization of a so-called commune system is another example for the effort to improve the income of the farmers. Of all of these changes are signs that the consistently dogmatic Chinese Communist regime has been compelled to bow to reality and make an about-face after a series of setbacks. In advocating the reunification of China on the basis of the three principles of the people, we are not trying to embarrass the Chinese Communist regime, nor we want to make it hard or difficult for them. As early as September 1937, soon after outbreak of the Sino-Japanese War, the Chinese Communists has openly declared that, I quote, Dr. Sun Yat-sen's three principles of the people are needed today in China, and this party, which means Communist Party, is willing to try to help carry them out, unquote. In the recent years, the Chinese Communists have often expressed their respect for Dr. Sun Yat-sen. On October 10th last year, 1981, the anniversary of the Wuchang Revolution of 1911 that gave birth to the Republic of China, the Chinese Communist regime paid tribute to the great man who created the first democratic country in Asia. In the recently promulgated Fifth Draft Constitution, the Chinese Communists affirmed Dr. Sun Yat-sen's contribution to establishment of the Republic of China. They have thus recognized the superiority of the three principles of the people. All freedom-loving Chinese sincerely hope that the Chinese Communists will truly return to and identify with Dr. Sun Yat-sen's three principles of the people, and that they will take earnest action to implement the three principles. Ladies and gentlemen, the reunification of China is a common aspiration of the Chinese people. For the last more than 30 years, the government and people of the Republic of China have worked to reunify China and restore freedom to the Chinese people on the mainland. The reunification of China is a fateful topic. We hope the Chinese people on both sides of the Taiwan Straits will ponder carefully and decide which political system will bring them dignity, glory, freedom, and happiness. We believe that Chinese reunification should be based on the free will of the Chinese people as a whole. We hope the Chinese communists will not continue to beat around the bush and engage in the plotting of ruses. We also hope they will make no more gesture to confuse people of the world. Instead, they should give up the four fundamental principles as quickly as possible and take steps to change their way of life. If the political, economic, social, and cultural gaps between the Chinese mainland and the Free China Taiwan continue to narrow, the conditions for peaceful unification can gradually mature. The obstacles to reunification will be reduced naturally with the passage of time. Ladies and gentlemen, academic study is a serious business. Han Yu, a Chinese scholar of the Tang Dynasty, said, "Words must bear enlightening messages." The Bible says, "Truth will make you free." Both quotations suggest that the quest for knowledge should not cease with the mere satisfaction of curiosity, but should apply knowledge to the furtherance of mankind's well-being. I sincerely hope that through the profound study, analysis, and the deliberations of famous scholars like you, an in-depth understanding of the reality of the Chinese mainland can be achieved. I further hope your insights and observations will shed light on the right direction for China's further development. In conclusion, I want to express the hope that during your stay in the Republic of China, you will give us the benefit of your wise counsel on our administrative affairs as well as your deliberations on the problem of mainland China. My colleagues and I will be delighted to accept your advice. I wish you good health, happiness, and prosperity, and hope you all enjoy your short sojourn in the Republic of China and Taiwan. I thank you.
You have a very strong team, I was told that.
I don't think they're so strong. They've only played a couple of games so far, but I think they may be overrated. But the softball tournament was a chance for us also to come and see, because we live in Peking and we see mainland China all the time. This was a chance for us to come and do a comparison.
I watched your basketball team.
Yes.
Very, very good team. Very strong. Come out second.
Yes. Yes. I think they're a lot stronger than some of the teams in Asia, but still not as strong as the Americans, of course, who are always seem to be the best in the world. Peking negotiations that may be concluded, I don't know. I want to talk a little bit about that. Is that all right?
I'll ask two questions, right? One
major category of questions.
Yeah. I hope we can. I will ask the questions that I think you have seen.
I've been busy all day, all morning. So if you.
And I think because I'm from Peking, some of the questions that I may ask may not have come from many other journalists. And the final area of questioning, and if you want to answer this final area of questioning, both know there are some very serious problems aside from communism with food supply and things like that. And I just wanted to chat a little about that.
Okay. May I make a suggestion?
Yes.
Why don't we
okay. So you would like me to ask these formal questions and you give your formal responses, and then once we finish those two areas, then I will ask some other questions. Mr. Premier, first of all, thank you for getting a chance for Canadian television, a television crew that lives in Peking, to come and interview you. I quite appreciate it. My first question is, we know that there may be some sort of an agreement between Washington and Peking about future arms sales to Taiwan. What options are you going to pursue about the future defense for the Republic of China?
Well, we believe to let the Republic of China to maintain adequate defense capability is the best way to prevent the Chinese communists to take military aggressive actions against us, thus maintaining the peace and the stability in this area. The leaders of the government of the United States of America have repeatedly stated that they are going to implement the Taiwan Relations Act peacefully. So we hope that they will continue to supply us with the necessary defense arms and equipment. Of course, we want to establish our own defense industry, but this will take time to realize. So in the meantime, we hope that the United States government to honor its commitment and to continue to supply us with the necessary defense equipment to ensure the peace and the stability in this part of the world.
The experience of the last 18 months, I think the people here in the Republic of China may have the impression that the United States is not living up to the Taiwan Relations Act. It has not gone on and given you the F-16 advanced fighters that you wanted. Will you go and pursue military sales on the world market?
Well, as you know, most of our military hardware came from the United States. Our armed forces were trained to use to maintain the American equipment. So therefore, it is necessary for us to obtain or to procure all the necessary equipment from the United States as much as possible.
I think I'm asking if that military equipment is cut off. Is it an option to you to pursue the world market?
Well, you know, we ordered 2 submarines from the Netherlands about a year ago.
Is that an indication that the answer is yes, that you would go and pursue other naval equipment elsewhere?
Well, we still believe that the U.S. government will continue to supply us with the necessary defense equipment and arms.
Your position has always been, we will be strong here in the Republic of China. How much are you going to rely on the United States as a supplier of arms, or is your goal to be self-sufficient in defense systems?
As I said earlier, we are now doing our best to establish our own defense industry. But this will take time, and we need some heavy industries to support such a defense requirements.
How much time would it take? How many years would it be before you might be self-sufficient in defense systems?
Well, I cannot give you a number of years.
Okay. Mr. Alexander Haig, the old Secretary of State, has gone, or is going. Mr. George Shultz is about to take the State Department portfolio. If you have a comment or some advice for Mr. Shultz on policy in this part of the world.
Well, I don't think it is appropriate for me to make any comment because Mr. Schultz has not taken over the post of Secretary of State as yet. I believe he has to obtain the approval from the Senate. My personal impression that Mr. Schultz is a very competent man. He's a good man.
You're quite diplomatic here in this area. My second area of questioning, because I am from Peking, as we talked about earlier, there is a great curiosity on the mainland about what is happening here in Taiwan, here in the Republic of China. Very few Chinese on the mainland know what is going on here. Do you agree with my analysis of that people on the mainland don't know what's going on here?
I believe you. It's a matter of a degree. Perhaps 5 years ago, even less people know what is going on here on the island. But now, because there are many millions of overseas Chinese who visited both the Republic of China and Taiwan and went to the mainland to meet their relatives. I'm sure that they will tell the people on the mainland the big difference between the living conditions of the people here on the island and on the mainland. In addition to this, there are many students from the mainland went to all parts of the world, and all engineers, scientists and students talk to them frequently. I'm sure they have a better understanding about the situation here on the island, about the difference, and perhaps the reason of this difference. I think these people will bring back a much better understanding of the big difference that exists between the two sides of Taiwan Strait. Of course, we are using different real means of through mass media, such as broadcasting, TV, motion pictures, and balloon. We use balloon to carry pamphlets and literatures to let as many people on the mainland to know the actual situation here on the island as possible. So through this, I hope that more and more people on the mainland not only know better about the actual situation here on the island, but also know why there's such a big difference.
I would say that these efforts, the overseas Chinese contacts, the balloons, your television broadcasts, are really heard or listened to or seen by a small number of people on the mainland.
That's true.
We Westerners have an expression, seeing is believing. And I know your stance is no negotiation with the communists for the reasons that you so ably have said in the past. But what sort of responsibility do you have to try to communicate with some of your relatives in the Harbin area of China, northwest China? Do you feel any responsibility to tell these people more, and all the millions of Chinese here who haven't been able to talk or telephone or mail? Is there any responsibility you feel?
Well, we are doing our best, as I said, not through the regions of overseas Chinese, through the many intellectuals, both on the mainland or outside of China mainland, and also through mass media. I said again, broadcasting, pamphlets. So I believe as time goes on, this will show good results.
Okay. I've finished the formal part of my questioning now, and I have some informal questions, if I just may go back onto the military area for the informal questions. I have sort of a direct question. How effective is the PRC's intelligence operation here in the Republic of China?
I'm able to answer that question. In their intelligence,
are there a lot of spies here from the PRC, and are they very effective?
well, they are doing their best, trying to infiltrate, trying to create the problems to us. But because the geographic and topographic advantages, we have been able to effectively limit these activities to a minimum. But they are doing everything possible to set up many offices, trying to work on Taiwan on the opposite side of Taiwan Strait. So we keep our eyes open. We watch this very closely.
I know your policy, your stated policy on nuclear capability in the defense area. If you wanted to have a nuclear capability, how long would it take you to develop a nuclear capability?
Well, I'm not a scientist. I won't be able really to answer those questions. Yes, at the present we engage in the peaceful use of nuclear energy. As you know, we build several big nuclear power plants.
You have many scientists here, nuclear scientists, engineers, rocket engineers. Do you feel confident that if you needed to, you could build or have a nuclear capability?
Yes, I believe we have that capability. But the problem is our policy. Our policy, as you know, we have stated repeatedly, we will not build any nuclear weapons. That is still our policy.
Could the United States, if it cuts you off completely from military equipment, push you to change your policy on nuclear capability?
I don't think I should answer such hypothetical questions.
All right. The other area in terms of the curiosity back and forth across the straits, I'd like you to state again why no telephone communication, why no mail communication?
Well, when Chinese communists made this peace offer, they attached two conditions to this offer. First is that they offer this from position of central government. So we take this from position as a local government, a condition which is absolutely unacceptable. We will not fall in the trap to annex us. And secondly, they also repeatedly said, if they cannot achieve through negotiations, they are going to reserve the right to use force. These two conditions attached to this offer. So we knew that they are not sincere, they are not serious. Now take, for instance, you come here to witness this women softball championship match. They advocated to promote exchange of athletics and scholars, but this time they refused to attend this conference. And their conditions, I don't know whether you know, they will come only if we raise their flag, not our flag. Now this discloses that the whole intention is not to negotiate with us, is not to promote truly to exchange information or exchange athletics. the whole purpose is a plot to let us fall into trap that we agree to be a sort of a local government to the central government. That's clearly shown by the few declining to come to this match.
Do you have any initiatives that you would have to begin those simple things like telephone and mail communication? Or is there just no way?
Well, we do not feel that there's any purpose to negotiate with a party who set up as a trap to let us fall in the trap. No, the conditions for unification is just are not there.
Why don't you take the initiative for understanding, not for unification, but for understanding, and say, invite Deng Xiaoping here. Seeing is believing, invite Deng Xiaoping here. Why don't you do that?
Well, as I said earlier, the whole purpose is to annex us, to downgrade our position or to challenge our sovereignty. With this, the purpose of exchange and for exchange of three linkages, we don't see any purpose for us to respond to any of their propaganda or plot.
You know, Anwar Sadat in the Middle East made that great valiant peace effort by visiting across a war boundary. Had you thought about this at all, inviting Deng Xiaoping or Zhao Ziyang here onto your territory?
No. We do not see any good purpose for this. They will take advantage of this to make a lot of publicity. Think that we now want to negotiate, want to make contact with them. As long as the communist regime, we have no deal with any communist regime.
If Peking...
Just a moment, could we get a handshake?
Yes.